Hey everybody, it's Dr. Allison here at Freedom Family Chiropractic, and I have invited our friend Terri to share a couple things with you, and we're going to talk about fasting today, but in a very specific window for a very specific reason. We fast for all kinds of reasons. However, I recently had a conversation. I spoke with the moms group, and we talked about hormones, we talked about toxins and all kinds of amazing things, and I brought up fasting. And then in secret, a young mom said, "Hey, you know what? You can't really say this in all communities because we know that weight loss is just a hard thing. Like your weight is your identity. It's so many things, and so many of us work hard to get our weight off." Well, anyways, this mom was like, "Hey, I'd love to do some fasting, but I'm afraid to lose weight. And I'm afraid to say that out loud." And I was like, oh my gosh, I just had this idea that like we can't let our skinny friends miss out on the opportunity that fasting presents us. Because when we know what fasting does in our body, and we know that it helps generate stem cells and it helps repair our hormones. We know that testosterone, so like men or women, we need testosterone, but it goes up by like 1,500% or something. I mean, it's just amazing what happens in our body when we fast. And so that's why I asked our friend Terri here to share just a little bit. So when Terri first came in, she had lots of food sensitivities. I know like your energy was very low. She was affected by the smallest things. And so supplements, like she came in and she's like, where do we even start? And I was like, well, you can't take this, you can't take this, you react to this, even to the point where if she ate something, it might take her 2 or 3 weeks to get back to feeling well. And so I looked at Terri and I said, well, I know what you need to do. You need to just stop eating, stop taking something, just fast. And she was like, how did you feel? How did you feel at that moment?
Kind of overwhelmed and scared, because at that point I'd been dealing with colitis for a year and my weight was down to even pre-high school levels. I mean, I'm almost 5'9", and I was down to 120. So I'm like, what?
You were really afraid to lose weight.
I was scared to death to lose any more weight. So,
and afraid,
yeah.
I mean, your family is looking on and caring for you. Like your family is afraid, like you're losing weight. What are you doing, fasting? Fire your doctor. That's the first thing they say. But you stuck with it. You stuck with it, and you started, I mean, just tell us how you got started, like with the windows and...
Yeah, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of reading and a lot of watching things on YouTube, Dr. Mindy, and I decided I started slow. I started with like 12 hours, 12 and 12, and that was pretty easy. And so I bumped it up to 14, 15, got to 16, and I was doing 16-8 on a pretty regular basis. And what was amazing to me is just even with that, my gut felt better. Everything was feeling better. And it's not that I was gaining weight yet, but I was able to keep my food in my body the way it's, and digest it. And I could feel the energy coming back. So I started trying to throw some 24-hour fasts in, and that again, I could literally feel the difference after a 24-hour fast. And
so let me ask you a specific question on that. When you did jump to a 24-hour fast, was it harder than you thought or easier than you thought?
Easier, because I'd been doing 16, 17 anyway.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's like even now, it's really easy for me now, but I get to that point where I would have eaten and my body's going, okay, where's the food? And I don't eat, and my body within 20 minutes says, oh, okay, no big.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
We'll just burn some fat cells instead. Like we'll do that.
Right.
So, and then, I mean, you eventually, you've gained weight since you started that. Do you mind sharing that?
Not at all. Yeah, I was so pleased. Within about 3 or 4 months, I had put on probably about 5 pounds, which may not seem like a lot, but for me that was huge. And this is a year and a half later since I've been doing the fasting, and I'm at my optimal weight.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. And the thing too that I didn't know was really going to happen, so I'd been dealing with, some call it long COVID, some call it chronic fatigue syndrome. I don't know what it was, but I had zero energy. And within 6 months, I was feeling the energy coming back. a year later, I mean, a dream to me was walking my dog around the block. I couldn't do that. We can walk for half an hour now.
Yay!
it's that, yeah, that is one of the reasons I will probably stick with fasting for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because I just feel so much better.
It's so amazing, and we look when we look at history, like and different cultures and different religions, and specifically Christianity, we can look and see that God had planned those fasts out, right? You fast, you feast, like it was on their calendar. They all did it together, and so it's just really amazing. So I just wanted to encourage some of our friends, like because that was a real fear for you, like being afraid to lose the weight.
I was really
And it's just, it transforms our body. I mean, cancer cells are dying, like old damaged cells that don't know how to process ketones. They're gone and excreted, right?
Yes.
But thank you for sharing today.
Oh, sure.
I hope we've encouraged some of you. And the biggest thing is sometimes you just need a coach. Like you need somebody to walk and say, you are going to be fine. This is what's going to be happening in your body. We use a keto mojo. I love using that, like to see your glucose and your ketones. And then when you know what your body's doing, you can almost like we feel things and then and then we can trigger that fear response. But knowing what's going on can give us just the upper hand. So
yes,
thank you for sharing.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yes.